I hit you up, you don't wanna know. Like you ain't involved, it's all good, but I was hoping maybe there was no rush. Maybe we could take it slow, take control of your whole world.
Now, I've been, listening to your music for a while now. Definitely, easily over a year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, let me just mark it at that, because some people that have maybe been listening to your music only more recent, when they hear your new single, Talk to Me, they would be like, is this what Nick Brewer's about? But your past music was very like soulful, very A Tribe Called Quest, Common, even the vibe of Erykah Badu, very soulful. Do you know what I mean? But this is definitely a swerve. Yeah. Is this your new direction?
Do you know what? That's an interesting thing. I mean, like, so when I first started making music, like I did these two mixtapes in 2010, 2011, and like, I think when you make a mixtape, when I was making mixtape, I wasn't thinking at all. So like, kind of like going back to what we earlier said about being calculated. So I was just making music. So track 1 would be a grime track. Track 2 would be like a Jay Dilla kind of track. Track 3 would be something that sounds very commercial and just so like it was just, there was no kind of like continuation, consistency. Yeah,
I think that there was definitely a consistent vibe of the soulfulness though.
I agree. Yeah, you're probably right. But it was like, for me, I always liked different types of music. So like, I think 4 Miles Further, for example, if I'm honest, that's probably my most complete project in terms of like a consistency of sound, and that's something that I feel like I'm doing with my album that I'm working on now. Is Talk to Me like a swerve? Yeah, it's definitely a different vibe to the likes of 4 Miles Further, but I think it's still just as much me, because that's kind of been something that I've been doing from the get-go. Like, and one thing that I feel like sometimes people are scared to be commercial. I feel I'm not scared to be commercial, because like, I've always kind of liked commercial music. Like, that there's a difference between being commercial and just forgetting yourself and selling out. I think, but I don't think, like, I've kind of been, if you go back and listen to my first mixtape that I put out in 2010, there's commercial tunes on there, like, and that was just because I like them. So yeah, that's kind of the way I view it. But no, it's definitely not a swerve. This is just me showing a different side of my character. Because sometimes, like, I like the laid back stuff, but sometimes, like, that's not always the vibe for me. So yeah.
Now the sample, 1991 Crystal Waters, Gypsy Woman. Yeah. Now for you to attack this sample,
it's dangerous.
Wow, it's dangerous. It's brave.
Yeah, and I think like when the Confet who produced it, when they kind of like showed me the idea, I loved it, because I love that song. I love I just love the sample. I love that melody. But yeah, it's like, do I really want to be doing this? Because you're opening yourself up for potential ridicule with a sample like that. But I didn't make it ever. To be honest with you, I didn't make it thinking it was going to be my first single. I didn't make it. I actually made that around the same time we started on it around the same time I was making 4 Miles Further, actually. So I just kind of thought, you know what, like, I like it. And one thing that I've struggled with as a person is just believing in myself, and like believing that if I like something, like sometimes let me start again. Sometimes I've waited for other people to tell me something is good before I believed it is good. But just kind of know in my own mind. And I was like, do you know what? I like this song, Like, I like it. I played it to my label. They was like, we like this too. What do you think as a first single? And I was a bit like, I kind of the things were like, are people going to think whatever? But I was like, I like this song. Like, I enjoy performing it. I like the vibe. No one made me make it. Like, so yeah, that was kind of, yeah. But yeah, it's scary using a sample like that, but I just thought, I felt like I did it justice, and I felt like that song is such a flipping tune, do you know what I mean, just in its own right. But I feel like I didn't just try and do a copy, like I tried to add something different to it. So there's going to be people out there that will hate my version and just be like, why? But that's always, there's going to be people that love my version. Do you get what I mean? So it's just like, also, if I can open it up to a new generation of people, because if I'm honest, the first time I heard that song was when T.I. used it. Do you know what I mean?
For real? Yeah.
And then I went back and because I must have been about 13 maybe when that T.I. tune came out, something like that, maybe not that young. And then I went back and I was like, so
find the original.
Yeah, man. So straight. I hope, yeah.
Now, part of growing as a person is like in many different ways. Like when I spoke to you last year, when we done the first interview, there was a lot of things that we talk about. I know that you're very responsible for your message and very, I feel if you wasn't calculated then in regards to your releases, you was very calculated in regards to your message.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
You're definitely not about the gangster, the street, the intoxications, the swearing. Do you know what I mean? So I'm wondering, will this, you know, this industry maybe take you in and change you? Like, could you ever see you maybe changing some of those?
If I'm honest with you, no. Because like for me now, I'm a 26-year-old man. So like growing up, like I've grown up in the church. I'm a Christian. Sorry. And like there's just things that I know that are real to me, and like things that I know like are just not me. So, and I feel like I've been prepared in that sense. Like I'm, you know, growing up as a teenager in London, like a lot of people, like there's just things that you well, growing up anywhere, you have like temptations, all that sort of thing. I went to uni, do you know what I mean? I was kind of the same guy at uni. So I feel like it's prepared me. I would never want to be arrogant enough to say like, you know, like nothing's gonna ever make me like do anything I don't want to, because at the end of the day I don't know. But I feel like very strong in terms of who I am and who I believe God's made me to be. That yeah, there's just things that I wouldn't do. But I wouldn't want to judge anyone else, because everyone's got their own sort of journey. But for me, I feel like I have a responsibility to be consistent with who I am as a person, being reflected in what I rap about. Sorry for going on a bit long-winded, but yeah, it's something I'm passionate about. I think like rappers, my favourite rappers are the rappers that let me know who they are and what they're about. Like Nas is my favourite rapper. I feel like we had very different upbringings, very different experiences, but I feel like I can relate to him. So it's like you haven't always got to be exactly the same as someone to relate to who they are. Of course. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.